11 Signs you should walk away from any relationship, even family or friends. Stoicism. Have you ever held on to a friendship or relationship, knowing deep down it's draining you, but you just can't let go? Maybe it's the memories, the comfort, or the fear of being alone that keeps you tethered. But what if letting go could set you free? Free to grow, to find peace, and to live a life that truly lights you up. That's where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism comes in, offering a roadmap for navigating the tough but necessary choices about who we let into our inner circle. Today, we're diving into how Stoicism can help you recognize when it's time to lovingly release certain ties and make space for relationships that uplift and inspire you. Hey there, my friend. Welcome to this journey. I'm beyond excited to share this with you because Stoicism isn't just a philosophy from ancient times. It's a practical, life-changing guide for building a life filled with purpose, tranquility, and meaningful connections. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of Stoic strategies to assess your relationships, spot the red flags, and make courageous decisions that honor your growth and well-being. We'll explore timeless teachings from Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, weave in real-life stories, and give you actionable steps to cultivate relationships that align with your highest self. So, grab a notebook, get cozy, and let's dive into the art of choosing connections with wisdom and heart. Ready? Let's go! The weight of holding on. Let's start with a question. Have you ever felt stuck in a relationship that's more exhausting than uplifting? Maybe it's a friend who's always negative, a partner who doesn't respect your dreams, or even a family member whose drama leaves you drained. You care about them, you've shared countless moments, laughs, tears, late-night talks, but something feels off. Deep down, you know this connection is holding you back from becoming the person you're meant to be. It's a heavy realization, isn't it? That's where Stoicism steps in, like a wise friend offering clarity. Born over 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece and Rome, Stoicism was the go-to philosophy for people facing real struggles: war, exile, loss. Thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius didn't just talk about life. They lived it, using Stoicism to stay grounded no matter what came their way. And one of their biggest lessons: to live a fulfilling life, you need to surround yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you to grow, and respect who you are. It's not about cutting people out coldly, it's about curating your life with intention, choosing relationships that align with your values and help you flourish. This isn't easy. Letting go of someone you care about feels like ripping out a piece of your heart. I've been there. A few years ago, I had a friend who was like family. We'd been through everything together, but over time, I noticed I felt smaller around them, criticized, drained, stuck. It took me months to admit it, but holding on to that friendship was keeping me from growing. Stoicism gave me the courage to step back, not with anger, but with gratitude for what we'd shared and a commitment to my own path. That's what this video is about, learning to make those tough choices with wisdom, courage, and love. Stoicism's take on relationships. So, what does Stoicism say about relationships? At its core, Stoicism is about living in harmony with your values: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, and focusing on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and choices. When it comes to relationships, Stoicism teaches us to be intentional about who we let into our lives. It's not about having the most friends or being everyone's favorite. It's about building a small, meaningful circle of people who inspire you, support your growth, and share your commitment to living well. The Stoics believed that relationships should reflect our pursuit of a good life. They should be sources of strength, not stress. They should encourage us to be our best selves, not pull us into negativity or compromise. But here's the kicker: sometimes the people closest to us, the ones we've laughed with, cried with, built memories with, aren't meant to stay forever. And that's okay. Stoicism isn't about clinging to what's familiar. It's about having the clarity to see what serves your growth and the courage to let go of what doesn't. Think of your life like a garden. The people you surround yourself with are the plants you choose to nurture. Some bloom beautifully, adding color and life. Others might choke out the sunlight, leaving you wilted. Stoicism helps you tend to that garden with care, pulling weeds not out of spite, but to make room for new growth. Let's explore the signs that it might be time to prune your garden, guided by Stoic wisdom. Sign number 1: when growth stalls. First up, let's dive into growth, or the lack of it. Seneca, one of Stoicism's heavyweights, was obsessed with self-improvement. He saw life as a constant journey of learning, evolving, and pushing your limits to become the best version of yourself. So, if you're in a relationship where you feel stuck, like you're treading water instead of moving forward, that's a massive red flag waving in your face. Maybe it's a friend who brushes off your ambitions, a partner who doesn't cheer for your successes, or someone whose constant negativity makes you shrink and play small. If they're not fueling your growth, it's time to sit up and take notice. I had a coworker once who was a blast to be around, always cracking jokes, keeping the mood light, the life of the office. But whenever I opened up about my goals, like launching a side hustle, she'd give me this look, roll her eyes, and toss out a sarcastic, "Good luck with that." At first, I laughed it off, thinking she was just teasing. But over time, I noticed something. I was hesitating, doubting myself, holding back on my dreams because her vibe was subtly tearing me down. Seneca would have called her an anchor, a relationship weighing me down instead of lifting me up. It was a wake-up call to reassess who I let influence my path. Take a moment and think, do the people in your life celebrate your wins, no matter how small? Do they spark inspiration, pushing you to reach higher, or do they make your dreams feel like foolish fantasies? Healthy relationships aren't about perfection. Nobody's expecting a 24/7 motivational coach, but they should feel like a launch pad, propelling you toward your potential, not quicksand sucking you into stagnation. If you're not growing, hit pause and reflect. Why is this happening? Is this person's presence dimming my light? Stoicism teaches us to choose connections that align with our pursuit of virtue and growth. If a relationship feels like it's stalling your progress, it's worth asking whether it's time to set boundaries or make a courageous change. Sign number 2. Negative emotions take over. Next, let's get real about emotions. Ever been in a relationship where drama feels like the main course? Maybe it's non-stop arguments that leave you raw, jealousy flaring up when you share a win, or anger that ignites over the tiniest things. It's like living in a soap opera, and let me tell you, it's exhausting. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who ruled Rome while jotting down timeless wisdom, dropped a game-changing truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's huge. You can't control how others act, their outbursts, their envy, but you can control how you respond and whether you keep riding that emotional roller coaster of a relationship. Negative emotions like jealousy, anger, or resentment are part of being human. Nobody's saying you should never feel them. But when they become the defining vibe of a relationship, that's a problem. If you're constantly walking on eggshells, dreading the next fight, or feeling diminished because someone's tearing you down, that's a loud signal something's wrong. I had a friendship once where every hangout turned into a competition. Who had the worst day, whose life was tougher. It wasn't just tiring, it left me drained, like I couldn't relax and just be myself around them. Marcus Aurelius would have told me to notice those feelings, dig into why they're happening, and choose a response that reflects the person I want to be: calm, grounded, and true to my values. Here's a practical tip. The next time a wave of negativity hits in a relationship, hit pause. Take a deep breath and ask, why am I feeling this? Is this a one-off moment, or is it a recurring pattern? If it's a pattern, if drama, criticism, or toxicity is the norm, it might be time to step back. Not out of spite or to win, but to protect your inner peace. Stoicism doesn't ask you to bury your emotions. It encourages you to use them as guideposts. Are these feelings telling you this relationship isn't serving you? Listen to them. Choosing distance or setting boundaries can be a powerful act of self-respect, aligning your life with tranquility and purpose. Sign number 3. Manipulation and control. Now, let's tackle a heavier topic: manipulation and control. Epictetus, a Stoic who rose from slavery to profound wisdom, dropped a truth bomb that hits hard: no one is free who is not master of himself. Think about that. True freedom means you're the captain of your own ship, steering your choices, chasing your dreams, and walking your path without someone else yanking the wheel. But in some relationships, you might feel like a puppet, with someone else pulling the strings. Maybe it's subtle, like a friend who guilt-trips you into doing what they want, dropping hints like, "You'd do this if you really cared." Or maybe it's blatant, like a partner who demands you change your style, your opinions, or even who you are to fit their mold. Either way, it's a massive red flag waving in your face, screaming that something's seriously off. I once dated someone who always had suggestions for me: how I should dress, what I should say, even how I should think about my goals. At first, I thought they were just opinionated, maybe trying to help. But over time, it felt like I was losing myself, second-guessing every decision to avoid their disapproval. It was suffocating. Epictetus would have looked me in the eye and said, "Reclaim your autonomy." Relationships should be built on mutual respect, where both people are free to be themselves, not twisted into someone else's vision of perfect. If you're constantly doubting your choices, feeling like your wings are clipped, or reshaping yourself to please someone, hit pause and ask, am I truly free in this relationship? If the answer's no, dig deeper. What's keeping you there? Fear of being alone, habit, or maybe hope they'll change? Then ask the tougher question, is this worth my freedom? Stoicism teaches us to value our independence and dignity. A healthy connection lifts you up, encouraging your individuality, not controlling it. If manipulation is at play, reflect on what you deserve, a relationship where you're respected, not reshaped. Taking that step to set boundaries or walk away isn't easy, but it's a powerful act of self-mastery, aligning your life with freedom and respect. Sign number 4. More harm than good. Let's talk about relationships that just feel bad. You know the ones. Every interaction leaves you drained, stressed, or feeling like a shadow of yourself. Stoicism is all about living in harmony with your nature, chasing a life filled with virtue, tranquility, and purpose. So, if a relationship is yanking you away from that, leaving you anxious, on edge, or questioning your worth, it's time to take a hard, honest look. These connections aren't just bumps in the road, they're roadblocks to your well-being, and Stoicism gives you the clarity to see them for what they are. Healthy relationships aren't perfect. They've got their ups and downs, moments of tension, or misunderstandings. But at their core, they should feel good. They should spark joy, offer support, and make you feel connected, like you're part of something meaningful. If instead you're constantly bracing for conflict, arguing over nothing, or walking away feeling down, that's not just a rough patch. It's a glaring sign the relationship might be doing more harm than good. I had a family member whose visits always ended in tension. Every conversation felt like navigating a minefield, and I'd be emotionally wiped out for days. It wasn't until I stepped back and asked, is this helping me grow, or is it hurting me? That I realized I needed to set firm boundaries to protect my peace. Stoicism calls for self-awareness here. Take a moment to reflect, is this relationship adding value to my life, or is it chipping away at it? Journal your thoughts if it helps. Write down how you feel after spending time with this person. If the answer leans toward stress, self-doubt, or exhaustion, try addressing it. Have an open, honest conversation about how their actions affect you. Sometimes, people don't realize the impact they're having, and a heart-to-heart can shift things. But if you've tried and nothing changes, if the negativity persists, Stoicism reminds us it's okay to prioritize your tranquility. Choosing to distance yourself isn't selfish, it's an act of courage, honoring your well-being and aligning with your pursuit of a virtuous life. You deserve connections that lift you up, not ones that pull you under. Sign number 5. Lack of mutual respect. Respect is non-negotiable, and the Stoics were crystal clear about it. They believed every person carries inherent worth, a spark of dignity that demands to be honored. Relationships, in their view, should be a mirror of that worth, built on mutual respect that uplifts both sides. Without it, you're constructing a house on sand, shaky, unstable, doomed to crumble under the slightest pressure. If you're in a relationship where you feel undervalued, dismissed, or outright disrespected, that's not just a red flag. It's a deal-breaker that screams for your attention. Let's break it down. Respect is the bedrock of trust, love, and genuine understanding. It's what makes a relationship feel safe and meaningful. If someone's constantly putting you down, steamrolling your boundaries, or treating you like your thoughts and feelings don't matter, what's left? A hollow shell of a connection that drains your spirit. I had a friend who loved making jokes at my expense, little digs about my choices or appearance that stung deep. At first, I let it slide, thinking it was just their sense of humor. But when I finally called it out, they brushed it off with a laugh, saying I was too sensitive. That dismissal, that lack of respect, hit me hard. It showed me the relationship wasn't worth my energy. The Stoics would nod in agreement. Honor your dignity. You're not here to be someone's punching bag. Stoicism teaches us to value ourselves and demand the same from others. If respect is missing, try addressing it. Set clear boundaries or have a heart-to-heart about how their actions make you feel. Sometimes, people need a wake-up call to change. But if they double down, ignore your needs, or keep disrespecting you, it's time to consider walking away. That's not giving up, it's choosing yourself. Reflect, does this relationship make me feel valued for who I am? If the answer's no, lean on stoic wisdom to act with courage. You deserve connections where your worth is celebrated, where mutual respect fosters trust and growth. Don't settle for less, your dignity is worth protecting, and the Stoics would back you up every step of the way. Sign number 6. Living in illusions. Stoicism is all about cutting through the fog and seeing things as they truly are, not as we desperately wish them to be. But in relationships, it's so easy to get tangled in illusions, clinging to an idealized version of someone or pinning your hopes on them changing someday. Maybe you're brushing off red flags, smoothing over glaring issues, or telling yourself everything's fine when deep down, you know it's not. That's not love, it's a mirage, shimmering with false promise but lacking substance. Stoicism calls us to snap out of it and face reality head-on, even when it stings. I learned this the hard way in a relationship where I was hooked on potential. My partner had moments of brilliance, kindness, charm, but they were inconsistent, often distant or dismissive. I kept thinking, if they just opened up more, or tried harder, we'd be perfect. I built a fantasy in my head, ignoring the reality of who they were. Stoicism taught me to stop chasing mirages. Accepting that they were who they were, not who I hoped they'd become, was gut-wrenching but liberating. It freed me to seek connections grounded in truth, not wishful thinking. Stoicism urges us to look at our relationships with clear, unflinching eyes. Are you holding onto a fairy tale? Are you ignoring patterns, disrespect, unreliability, or neglect that clash with reality? Try this. Sit down and ask, am I seeing this person as they are, or as I hope they'll be? Write down what you know to be true about them, their actions, not their promises. If you're banking on change that never comes, you're living in an illusion. Facing the truth isn't easy. It takes courage to admit a relationship isn't what you thought. But that honesty is the bedrock of authentic connections. Stoicism doesn't promise a pain-free path, but it offers freedom through clarity. Letting go of fantasies doesn't mean giving up on love. It means making space for relationships that are real, where you're valued for who you are, not who you might mold someone into. Embrace reality, and you'll find the strength to build connections that truly enrich your life. Sign number 7. Compromising your values. Your values are your compass, the guiding principles that shape your decisions, define your character, and light the path of your life. For the Stoics, living with integrity meant staying fiercely true to those values, no matter the cost or pressure. So, if a relationship pushes you to compromise what you hold dear, that's a non-negotiable red flag, blaring like an alarm you can't ignore. It could be subtle, like bending your honesty to avoid conflict, or a deeper betrayal, like ignoring your sense of justice to keep someone happy. Either way, compromising your values chips away at who you are, leaving you disconnected from your core. I learned this lesson with a friend who loved to gossip. It was their thing, dishing dirt, tearing others down, all in the name of fun. I value kindness and respect, so their pressure to join in clashed hard with who I am. At first, I went along, not wanting to rock the boat or seem boring. But every snarky comment left me feeling hollow, like I was betraying myself just to fit in. Marcus Aurelius would have grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "Stay true to yourself." Relationships should lift up your values, not drag them through the mud. That realization pushed me to set boundaries. I stopped engaging in the gossip and eventually distanced myself when it didn't stop. It wasn't easy, but it was freeing. Stoicism teaches us that our values, whether it's honesty, courage, or compassion, are the essence of a life well lived. If a relationship demands you twist those principles, even in small ways, it's a sign to pause. Reflect, is this connection asking me to be someone I'm not? Does it honor my values, or challenge them? If it's pulling you off course, try addressing it. Have an honest conversation about what matters to you. But if the pressure persists, Stoicism calls for courage. Set firm boundaries or walk away. That's not failure. It's a bold act of self-respect, aligning your life with integrity. You deserve relationships that celebrate your values, not ones that erode them. Hold your compass tight, and let it guide you to connections that strengthen who you are. Sign number 8. One-sided relationships. Relationships thrive on balance, a beautiful dance of give and take, where support flows freely in both directions. But what happens when you're stuck in a one-sided dynamic, always giving while the other person just takes? Stoicism, with its emphasis on mutual respect and harmony, flags this imbalance as a serious red flag. If you're pouring your energy, time, or love into someone who rarely reciprocates, it's like watering a plant that never blooms. Over time, that lopsided effort can leave you resentful, exhausted, and questioning your worth. I had a friend who was a master at this. They'd call me whenever they needed something, advice for a crisis, a favor to bail them out, or a shoulder to cry on during their latest drama. I was there every time because I cared. But when I needed support, a listening ear after a rough day, or help with something small, they were nowhere to be found, always too busy or just distant. It stung. I felt like an emotional ATM, dispensing care without ever receiving a deposit. The Stoics would look at that and say, seek balance. Relationships should be a two-way street, where both people lift each other up, not a one-way drain. Stoicism teaches us that harmony in relationships comes from mutual respect, where both sides contribute to each other's growth and well-being. If you're caught in a one-sided cycle, try addressing it. Have an honest conversation, express your needs calmly and clearly, and set expectations for mutual support. Sometimes, people don't realize they're taking more than they give, and a heart-to-heart can shift the dynamic. But if you've tried, and the imbalance persists, if they keep taking without giving back, it's time to reflect. Is this relationship worth your energy? Stoicism reminds us that we deserve connections that nourish us, not deplete us. Stepping back or setting boundaries isn't about being cold, it's about honoring your value and seeking harmony. You're not here to carry someone else's load alone. Reflect, is this relationship a partnership, or am I going it solo? You deserve connections where both sides show up, ready to lift each other higher. Sign number 9. Abuse, physical or emotional. This one's heavy, but we can't shy away from it. Abuse, whether physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, is an absolute deal-breaker. Stoicism is deeply rooted in dignity and self-respect, core principles that abuse shatters without mercy. It's not just a red flag, it's a blaring siren, a flashing warning light screaming for you to get out. No one, let me repeat, no one, deserves to be diminished, controlled, or harmed in any way. Abuse isn't a rough patch to endure, it's a violation of your inherent worth, and Stoicism stands firmly against it. If you're in an abusive situation, please hear this, it's not your fault, and you are not alone. Stoicism urges you to protect your dignity by taking action, reaching out for help from friends, family, or professionals, and taking steps to leave. I knew someone who was trapped in an emotionally abusive relationship, constantly belittled and manipulated. They clung to hope that things would change, but the insults and control only deepened. It took immense courage, but with the support of a counselor and loved ones, they walked away and started healing. That's the Stoic way, recognizing your worth, reclaiming your self-respect, and building a life aligned with virtue, free from harm. Leaving an abusive relationship is one of the hardest things you might ever do. It's not just about walking away, it's about facing fear, guilt, or even love for the person hurting you. But Stoicism teaches that your well-being is sacred. You have the power to choose a path that honors your dignity. If this resonates with you, please don't go it alone. Reach out to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or a hotline like the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They're there to help, no judgment, just support. Stoicism also emphasizes healing after abuse, rebuilding your inner strength, reaffirming your values, and moving forward with purpose. You are worth it, and you deserve relationships that uplift and respect you, not ones that tear you down. Take that first step, however small, towards safety and freedom. Your dignity is non-negotiable, and the Stoics would cheer you on, reminding you that a life of virtue begins with valuing yourself. Sign number 10. Communication breakdown. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, the pulse that keeps it alive and thriving. When it fails, when conversations go nowhere, misunderstandings stack up like unpaid bills, or you can't find even a sliver of common ground, it's a glaring sign of deeper issues bubbling beneath the surface. The Stoics placed immense value on clear, honest communication, using reason and empathy to forge meaningful connections. If you're trapped in a cycle of miscommunication, where every talk feels like shouting into a void, it's time to roll up your sleeves and dig deeper. Maybe it's a friend who clams up the second you try to discuss something real, shutting down like a locked door. Or perhaps it's a partner who twists your words, turning your attempts at honesty into arguments. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, would advise stepping back to view the situation with cool-headed clarity. Analyze the issue objectively. Where is the breakdown happening? Is it a lack of trust, mismatched styles, or something else? Then, approach it with empathy. Try active listening. Really hear the other person, not just nod while planning your next point. Put your phone down, look them in the eye, and absorb their perspective. When it's your turn, be clear and respectful about your needs, avoiding blame or assumptions. This kind of communication, rooted in Stoic principles, can bridge gaps and rebuild understanding. But what if you've tried everything? Listening, clarifying, pouring your heart into fixing things, and the communication stays broken. If talks consistently end in frustration or silence, it might signal the relationship isn't sustainable. Healthy connections thrive on mutual understanding, not guesswork or endless missteps. Stoicism encourages us to face this reality with courage. Reflect, is this lack of communication a temporary hurdle or a fundamental flaw? If it's the latter, consider whether the relationship aligns with your pursuit of a virtuous, harmonious life. Sometimes, stepping back is the wisest choice, not out of defeat, but to honor your need for connections that flow with clarity and respect. You deserve relationships where words build bridges, not walls, and where understanding is the foundation, not a distant hope. Sign number 11. Disturbing your peace. Stoicism places tranquility at the very heart of a good life, a steady inner calm that holds firm, no matter what chaos swirls outside. It's like an anchor in a storm, keeping you grounded when life gets rough. So, if a relationship is constantly disrupting that peace, leaving you unsettled, stressed, or emotionally frazzled, that's a major red flag you can't ignore. Relationships should be wellsprings of strength, joy, and connection, not turbulent storms that throw you off balance and leave you scrambling to find your footing. I had a colleague whose drama was like a dark cloud that followed them everywhere. Gossip, complaints, petty conflicts, they brought it all to every interaction. Every conversation left me rattled, my mind buzzing with tension long after we parted ways. Stoicism taught me to pause and reflect, why is this disturbing my peace? Is it their behavior, my reactions, or both? Can I change this dynamic? I tried setting boundaries, keeping our talks strictly professional, and redirecting negative topics. But the chaos just kept coming, like a tide that wouldn't ebb. Eventually, I made the tough call to distance myself, limiting our interactions to the bare minimum. The moment I did, my calm returned, like a weight lifting off my chest. That's the power of Stoic wisdom, choosing tranquility over turmoil. Reflect on your own relationships. Does this connection support my inner peace, or does it undermine it? If you're constantly anxious, drained, or upset after spending time with someone, that's your mind signaling a problem. Try addressing it. Have an honest conversation about how their actions affect you, or set clear boundaries to protect your space. Stoicism doesn't mean passively accepting disruption. It encourages action where change is possible. But if you've tried and the relationship still feels like a storm, consider letting go. That's not running away. It's a courageous choice to prioritize your well-being. You deserve relationships that feel like safe harbors, not raging seas. Take a moment to journal, what steps, communication, boundaries, or distance will restore my tranquility? Stoicism reminds us that peace is precious, and the connections we keep should nurture it, not shatter it, guiding us toward a life of balance and purpose. Building your Stoic toolkit. Now that we've walked through the signs that a relationship might be holding you back, let's equip you with a Stoic toolkit to navigate your connections with wisdom, courage, and clarity. These are practical, no-nonsense steps you can start using today to assess, strengthen, or, if necessary, release relationships that no longer serve you. Stoicism isn't about overthinking or dodging tough choices. It's about acting with intention to build a life aligned with virtue, tranquility, and growth. Here's your toolkit, ready to roll. Pause and reflect. When a relationship feels off, whether it's draining, tense, or just not right, hit pause. Take a deep breath and ask, is this connection supporting my growth, peace, and values? Grab a notebook and jot down your thoughts. Journaling helps untangle emotions, giving you clarity on whether this relationship is a launchpad or an anchor. Face reality. Stoicism demands seeing things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Are you ignoring red flags, like constant criticism or neglect, because you're holding on to hope? Be brutally honest with yourself. Write down the facts of the relationship, their actions, not their promises, to cut through illusions and ground yourself in truth. Communicate clearly. If something's wrong, don't stew in silence. Have an open, honest conversation. Express your feelings and needs calmly, with respect, and practice empathy by listening to their side. Clear communication, rooted in Stoic reason, can resolve misunderstandings or reveal if the relationship is worth saving. Set boundaries. Protect your peace and values by drawing clear lines. If someone's negativity or demands cross into your space, say no, firmly but kindly. Boundaries aren't walls. They're fences that keep your garden thriving. Stoicism teaches that your well-being comes first, and boundaries are a tool to ensure it. Seek balance. Check for reciprocity. Are you both giving and receiving support, or are you stuck in a one-sided dynamic? Relationships should feel like a two-way street. If you're always giving, address it. Talk about mutual effort. If the imbalance persists, Stoicism urges you to reconsider whether this connection aligns with harmony. Honor your values. Your values, honesty, kindness, justice, are your compass. Never compromise them to keep a relationship afloat. If someone pressures you to betray your principles, reflect, does this align with who I am? Stoicism calls for courage to choose connections that uplift your integrity, not erode it. Protect your dignity. If there's abuse or disrespect, physical, emotional, or otherwise, prioritize your worth. Stoicism sees dignity as sacred. Seek help from friends, family, or professionals, and take steps to leave if needed. You deserve relationships that honor your inherent value, not diminish it. Cultivate tranquility. Surround yourself with people who nurture your inner calm, not disrupt it. Relationships should be sources of joy, not storms. Choose connections that feel like safe harbors, supporting your stoic pursuit of a tranquil, purposeful life. Reflect daily. End each day with a quick journal entry. Did my relationships uplift me today? Where can I improve? This stoic practice builds self-awareness, helping you spot patterns and make intentional choices about who stays in your circle. Seek support. Letting go or navigating tough dynamics is hard. You don't have to do it alone. Lean on trusted friends, family, or professionals for perspective and strength. Stoicism values community. Drawing on others' wisdom is a sign of resilience, not weakness. This toolkit is your guide to living with stoic clarity in your relationships. Start small. Pick one step and try it today. Each choice you make is a step toward a life of virtue, peace, and meaningful connections. Real-life stories of letting go. Let's bring stoic wisdom to life with real stories that hit home. Meet Sarah, a friend who was caught in a relationship that slowly drained her spark. Her partner was charming, the kind of person who could light up a room, but behind the charisma was control. He'd nudge her away from her passions, art, travel, anything that made her shine, insisting she focus on practical things. At first, she thought he was looking out for her, but Stoicism opened her eyes to the manipulation. Epictetus's words about self-mastery rang true. She wasn't free. Using stoic clarity, she reflected on her values and saw the relationship was stifling her growth. With courage, she ended it, a tough but liberating choice. Today, Sarah's chasing her dreams, painting again, and traveling solo. She's found a peace she hadn't felt in years, proof that letting go can lead to rediscovery. Then there's Mike, who had a childhood friend he adored. They'd shared countless memories, late-night talks, adventures, the works. But over time, his friend turned negative, dismissive, always cutting Mike down with snarky comments. Mike kept hoping they'd recapture their old vibe, clinging to nostalgia. Stoicism taught him to face reality, not illusions. He asked himself, is this friendship uplifting me or dragging me down? The answer was clear. It was one-sided. Following Stoic principles, he had an honest conversation, expressing how the negativity affected him and setting boundaries. When nothing changed, Mike made the hard call to let go, not with anger, but with gratitude for their past. He walked away lighter, and now he's surrounded by friends who cheer his wins and inspire him daily. These stories show that letting go isn't about giving up or being cold. It's about choosing yourself, honoring your worth, and making space for relationships that align with your growth and peace. Sarah and Mike didn't just end connections. They opened doors to lives richer in purpose and joy. Stoicism gave them the tools to see clearly and act with courage, proving that releasing what holds you back is a powerful step toward a life that truly reflects who you are. Why this matters? Why dive into this stoic approach to relationships? Because the people you choose to keep close shape the very fabric of your life. They color your mood, sway your choices, and either fuel or stunt your growth. The Stoics understood this deeply. They saw relationships as a cornerstone of a life well lived, not just casual add-ons. Choosing your connections wisely isn't only about dodging pain or drama. It's about crafting a life that's rich, meaningful, and fiercely true to who you are. When you surround yourself with people who respect your worth, cheer your dreams, and inspire you to be better, you're not just happier. You're unstoppable, a force of purpose and joy. Stoicism hands you a powerful toolkit to make those choices with clarity and courage. It's not about being cold, wielding a machete to hack away every imperfect connection. It's about loving yourself enough to declare, I deserve relationships that lift me up, that align with my values and spark my growth. It's about looking at your inner circle through a stoic lens, asking if each person contributes to your peace, challenges you to live virtuously, or drains your spirit instead. With teachings from Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, Stoicism equips you to spot red flags, set boundaries, and, when needed, let go with grace, not bitterness. It's a philosophy that empowers you to act, not just react, ensuring your relationships reflect the life you want to lead. And here's the magic. When you choose relationships with stoic intention, you create a ripple effect. Your inner peace and strength radiate, inspiring those around you. Your connections deepen as you cultivate trust, mutual respect, and shared growth. Your life transforms into a living reflection of your highest values: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Imagine a world where your closest relationships are like a garden, each one blooming with support and harmony. That's the Stoic vision, and it starts with you making deliberate choices. So, embrace this approach, not just to avoid hurt, but to build a life that shines with purpose, surrounded by people who make you feel alive and unstoppable. That's the power of Stoicism. It's not just philosophy, it's a path to a life you'll love. Your next steps. We're nearing the end of this deep dive, but trust me, this is just the beginning of your Stoic journey. Stoicism isn't a quick fix you apply once and forget. It's a living practice, a way of approaching life with intention, wisdom, and courage. The beauty is, you don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Start small, right where you are. Pick one tool from our Stoic toolkit and put it into action today. Maybe grab a notebook and journal about a relationship that feels off, exploring why it's unsettling your peace. Or muster the courage for an honest, heartfelt conversation with someone you care about, laying your feelings bare. Every step, no matter how tiny, moves you closer to a life brimming with tranquility, purpose, and authentic connections. Want to dig deeper into Stoic wisdom? Go straight to the source. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is raw, unfiltered, and feels like sitting down with a wise mentor who's seen it all, perfect for reflecting on your relationships. Epictetus's Enchiridion is a short, punchy guide packed with practical insights for living well, especially when navigating tough choices. Seneca's Letters from a Stoic reads like advice from a friend, offering grounded tips for everyday challenges. If you're looking for a modern spin, Ryan Holiday's The Daily Stoic breaks down these ancient teachings into bite-sized lessons tailored for today's fast-paced world. These books aren't just reads, they're companions for building a life aligned with virtue. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your story. Maybe it's a relationship challenge you're wrestling with right now, or a time you let go of a toxic connection and felt yourself grow stronger. Your experiences inspire others, and we're all in this together. If this video struck a chord, give it a thumbs up. It helps spread this wisdom to more people. Hit that subscribe button, and don't miss the playlist linked on your screen, packed with more Stoic insights to fuel your journey. We're a community of seekers, learning and growing side by side, and I'm thrilled to keep exploring with you. Take that first step today, and let's build a life of purpose and peace together. As we wrap up, let's pause and reflect on the journey we've taken. Relationships are the heartbeat of life, pulsing through every moment, shaping who we are and who we're becoming. They can lift us to new heights or weigh us down, and Stoicism offers a guiding light to navigate them with clarity. Not every connection is meant to last forever, and that's perfectly okay. Stoicism teaches us to choose wisely, to hold tight to the relationships that uplift and inspire us, and to release those that hold us back, not with bitterness or regret, but with gratitude for the lessons and courage to move forward. Every relationship is an opportunity to embody Stoic virtues. Wisdom helps you see people and situations as they truly are, cutting through illusions. Courage empowers you to make tough choices, like setting boundaries or walking away from toxicity. Justice ensures you treat others with the respect they deserve, while expecting the same in return. Temperance keeps you balanced, preventing emotions from derailing your decisions. By curating your inner circle with intention, choosing people who align with your values and growth, you're doing more than protecting your peace. You're crafting a life that reflects your truest, most authentic self, a life vibrant with purpose and harmony. Here's my challenge to you. Take one step today toward a more stoic approach to your relationships. Maybe it's reflecting on a connection that feels off, journaling to uncover why it's unsettling. Perhaps it's setting a firm boundary with someone who's been draining your energy, or having a raw, honest conversation with a loved one to deepen your bond. Whatever it is, choose an action that aligns with your growth, tranquility, and values. You have the wisdom to see clearly, the strength to act, and the heart to do it with kindness. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic wisdom. Keep practicing, keep growing, and keep choosing relationships that light up your life like stars in a clear night sky. Until next time, stay stoic, stay strong, and let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments or catch me in the next video. Peace, my friends, and here's to a life well lived.